An appeal in the case of a murdered Border Patrol agent gets a special hearing here in Tucson. The key question, did one of the men convicted of the crime have his rights violated? The appeal in the case of Brian Terry was just one case heard by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals today on the U of A campus. It regularly takes its courtroom on the road. 13 News reporter Bud Foster is live on campus where arguments wrapped up just hours ago. Bud, this was an opportunity for law students.
Oh yeah, this is a great opportunity for the law students here on the U of A campus. Now these are two Arizona cases which would normally be heard at the Ninth Circuit in San Francisco. So instead of the students having to travel to San Francisco, the Ninth Circuit came here to give the students an opportunity to see how a circuit court works. Now this is very real, so for these students this was more than just a teaching moment.
I'm trying to figure out whether it becomes more complicated because your client chose to retain a Mexican lawyer.
Not just a Mexican lawyer, but a Mexican lawyer in Mexico who did not understand the American legal system, who told his client he could confess because robbing a drug dealer is not a crime. Heraclio Osorio was convicted, however, of not just robbery but felony murder for the killing of Border Patrol agent Brian Terry in 2010. His lawyers argue Osorio is a victim of very bad lawyering.
He had absolutely no clue, none whatsoever, about the charges. He had no clue about the applicable law. And in addition to that, he was manipulated by the government agents.
The judges seem skeptical that just because he hired a lawyer in Mexico and waived his Miranda rights that he should be absolved of responsibility. But the actions of the agents who interviewed him in Mexico also came under question.
Is it fair to say that they misrepresented to him what the consequences of confessing to being?
Absolutely.
But aren't agents allowed to do that?
No, Your Honor, they're not. They're not allowed to outright lie.
The second case involved a Bullhead City, Arizona man who made hundreds of phone calls to lawyers threatening to kill them, including House Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
So I'm trying to figure out why threatening to kill someone, put aside the invective after that, is protected by the First Amendment.
In the trial, it was not, and 77-year-old Stephen Martis was sentenced to 21 months in prison for telling Pelosi he was going to kill her and chop her up, and told Congressman Adam Schiff, "I'm going to put a bullet in your head." The question here is how far can a person go in threatening a politician and still stay within free speech rights?
So the FBI played these calls for Mr. Martis and said, "You are using threatening language. This is against the law." And then he continued to make the calls anyway.
Yeah, now even though he was held in a classroom here on the U of A campus, it doesn't make it any less real. The justices will take the information, the arguments, everything they heard here today back to San Francisco with them, and there they will offer their opinion and they will render their decision, and they will certainly have the full force of the law on the U of A campus at the law school. I'm Bud Foster, 13 News.